welcome to the homework video chat for the 19th of October. I'm Lisa from ShadyTreezStitchers, and with me today we have got NittyNatStitches.
Hello.
And Laura from the SlovakFarm. And another week without our beloved Sammy because she's busy doing other things, but I'm sure she'll be back soon. In the meantime, we have yet another action-packed video full of homework, thoughts, and double dipping extraordinaire.
Yes.
All right. First up, Nat, you want to tell us what Magical Stitches have for us this week?
Okay, this week on Magical Stitches, we have 5 prompts. Each prompt is worth 200 stitches, 300 stitches if you are doing penalty stitches. There we go, I remembered the word. That was good, lucky. All right, we had a little interruption there. I think I said 200 stitches per prompt and 300 stitches for penalty stitches. The first prompt, we're looking to stitch on a whip that has something with wings. Have you had time to think about what you're going to stitch for that?
Sorry, you dropped out. Was that me?
Mm-hmm, Lisa.
Well, I think, I mean, it's only come out this morning, but I'm actually thinking I might work on my new model stitch, which is an Among Us Halloween piece, and you've got wings up on the bat person.
Bat wings, clever.
Yeah, so that's what I think I'll do for wings. Laura?
I'm not in Magical Stitches.
That's okay.
Well, I don't have anything, like, everything's, she has wings.
She does.
I'm loving my Raven Queen right now.
Yep, she has wings, and the ravens have wings too.
Yes, the ravens have wings. And her dress has wings. And I'm loving stitching on her right now because it's solid black, because I'm still working on the black. So it's just one color, and it's so easy. You make a little outline, and you just go, and I don't got to pay attention to a pattern.
Yeah.
Why not?
All right. So
I'm down for easy right now.
Yeah, I'm just finding my whips. Oh, it probably looks quite strange to everybody. Okay, so I am going to stitch on Honeybee Pin Drum, and it's got a honeybee with wings.
Nice.
Oh, that's cute.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, well, that's good. So, yeah, any bird would do for wings, any fairy.
Insects with wings, angels.
Yep, sounds good.
Lots of things with wings. Okay, next prompt. Stitch on a design that starts with H or P.
Okay, well, it's probably a bit cheeky, but believe it or not, this new piece from PaddockLaneDesigns is called Halloween. That starts with H because they're all the Halloween characters.
That's right.
Yep, so I'll be able to get, and I've got to get the whole thing done, so that'll get me 400 stitches done on that.
Yep, that'll get you at least 1.5 little characters.
Okay, that's good to know. I think I'll probably just do all the black first, a bit like Laura was talking about.
Just one color. Just one color.
I specifically designed it because I wanted to, my son's mad about it, and I wanted to try and get him cross-stitching, so it's all block collars. So it's just you do the black outline and it's basically there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Laura.
Easy. H. Santa's house, I think, is the only thing we have with an H or a P. Oh, no, I have Plant Happiness, which is my lovely, crazy one that I'm doing, where I've changed all the colors on the flowers.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've changed all the colors. I've done them all in variegated rather than solids.
Oh, wow.
So
nice.
It looks really cool.
Well, that's a good P.
Yeah. And it's got a P and a H. Plant and Happiness.
Yeah, it does.
No bonus points for that.
No, sorry.
No bonus points for that, but overachiever self would do that.
That's right, yes. No, I'm going to do the honeybee pin drum. Again, a H and a P. You're on mute, Lisa.
I thought I unmuted.
No.
You'll be able to get extra stitches too. That's good.
Okay, next one. Stitch on a design that requires 2 skeins of the same colour. Lisa.
Yes. Look, I would imagine I haven't really given it too much thought as yet. But I imagine it's going to be one of my full coverages. And I'm just thinking on the go, because it was a while ago since we only just got these prompts when I woke up this morning. Oh, it's not digging it up for me. I've got a couple of full coverages that I'm planning to start. So I think whichever one of them needs 2 skeins, I'll start that one.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it while you guys are talking.
Sure. Laura?
I don't know that I actually have anything that
How many
would
skeins
require.
How many skeins of DMC 310 does your Mirabilia need?
Oh, it does require more than one. It says it requires 3.
There you go.
There we go.
So that would be that would be 2 or more. That would work. I have a cone, so I don't count like skeins of 310. I just pull off the cone as I need.
Yeah. I am going to stitch on something also along the lines of what Lisa and I are stitching on. This is also a very new release on Etsy called You Look Kinda Sus, and it is another Among Us design.
You can tell.
And it needs 2 skeins of DMC 310.
I'm not surprised with that pattern because it does have a lot of black in that one.
It does, yeah. It's a bit larger than your design. Lisa, were you able to find your?
I'm nearly there. Just my Facebook's not behaving. Almost.
Why
would it behave?
Will we maybe keep moving?
Yeah, keep moving.
Yeah, all right. Number 4, something you think the in-between would be like.
So I'm instantly thinking of Stranger Things and that dark and murky environment that is called the in-between in Stranger Things. That's what comes to my mind. I might need some help with this, guys. So let's have a look. You got something in mind already, do you?
I do. And you'll go, oh, when we come around to mine, you'll say, yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, well, hold on. These are my new whips. I don't know if your in mind is my new or my old whips.
These look like the new ones.
These are the new ones. Are you thinking a new one or an old one? Am I on the wrong page?
I'm thinking brand new, designed only yesterday.
Okay, well, I know what you're talking about then. Okay, but I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think for other people. Maybe this one. This one is, if it's going to load up, Strawberry Fields, because it's got that like huge vine growing.
That strawberry vine, yeah.
You know, and it's like sort of all overgrown and under the weather. So maybe something like that could be a bit in betweenish. I know where you're going now, but I'm just trying to think of another option. So, overgrown, dim greys.
Yeah, gloomy, kind of like, that sort of purgatory sort of place.
Do you think many Halloween pieces, though? There'd be some of them that would fit, probably.
I think so. Some of the gravestone style ones where, the bodies are gone and showing where they were left while the spirit's gone elsewhere. So it's one I get the feeling that we're allowed to really let our imagination go.
Let me show you another option. This is the Sleepy Hollow. And I was just thinking, because the trees are black and the house is black and everything's really black and gloomy, something like that might fit.
Yeah, something like that might fit because it's kind of, when I think of the in-between, like in-between realms, like everything's kind of
murky and blurry.
Yeah, murky and shadowy, and you know, I think Doctor Who too, especially like, and if I had it, if I knew where he had it, I would grab it. I don't know where Joe's flying TARDIS is because that would be totally the in-between realm because it's flying in between,
Right.
I don't know where it is. He has it somewhere buried in this house.
Yeah. So I am going to stitch Lisa's new design, Among Us Christmas. So this is the partner piece to Lisa's.
I love that.
Yeah, it's super cute. And the reason why I'm calling it the in-between is because my concept of the in-between is it's also a place of judgment. And that's part of what you do in this game, is that there is a period of time between bits of the action in the game where you pass judgment on your fellow players. And it's an opportunity. Oh, there we go. Cancel. I nearly left the meeting all entirely.
Oh dear.
Pressing the wrong button. Where you, as a player, if you're the one that's being judged as being an imposter, you have an opportunity to claim that it wasn't you who was the imposter. So that idea of being judged. The last prompt is something that you would like to inherit. What would you like to inherit, Lisa? And you're on mute. Oh, okay. Laura, do you want to keep going?
I would like to inherit farm. So I would do scenic farm.
Oh,
I would like to inherit that. Is definitely, I would love to inherit this farm. This would be like ideal for me.
It looks so beautiful. Yeah.
No neighbors.
No neighbors for as far as you can see, or at least they're a very long way off. Very peaceful. I'm going to jump ahead of you, Lisa, if that's okay. Okay. I would love to inherit not the golf club in St Andrews, but let's just be humble. A house in St Andrews, to be able to retire there would be superb. Yeah, St Andrews, home of golf. This is my full coverage project. I'm double dipping this with a couple of other prompts in other groups, and so, but yeah, I've been there before. My husband lived there as well for a little while, and we would love to retire there. We're never going to inherit there, but yeah, that would be nice.
One can dream.
Okay, I've got mine ready.
Okay. Lisa, you're muted again. Okay, so what have we got? Oh, Cozy Cove. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yes, I would take that as well. Because that's peaceful.
And I think I'd like to inherit the whole village, not just one of the houses.
Lisa's ambitious. She wants the whole village.
Can I inherit the chart when you're finished, Lisa?
Okay, I should be able to unmute now. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my kitchen and somebody decided to make their brunch.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
This is life and living.
Yep. All right, what do we got next?
We are up to Daily 30.
Okay, well, that's me. So the Daily 30 is, again, being incredibly creative this week. And this week we've got potions, brews, and spells. And we're having to use our brains and connect the dots There's no actual daily 30 this week again, which is quite amazing that there's no daily 30 again. So what you have to do is you have to choose a potion, and each potion has a particular theme for the whip. So we'll actually start with them in a minute. And then you have to choose 3 ingredients to put into your potion. And some of the ingredients are worth 50 stitches or 30 minutes. Some are worth 100, some are worth 150. And they're things like pickled pond slime, dragon drool, bat whiskers, spider toes, bloated ants, whole list of really creative Halloweeny sort of ingredients. You're only allowed to do 5 out of the 10 prompts. There's no actual doing extra, which is really tricky for people like me who like to do them all. So I've had to find the 5 that I like the best. And I'm just doing a 50, 100, and 150 ingredient in each one, because you can only use each ingredient once, which gives 300 stitches for the prompt. There is no penalty stitches or alternative stitches, so you just do however many you can, but a maximum of 5. So I'm going to go through and read the different choices and see if any of us have got these to do. Otherwise, we'll talk about what you might do. Number 1 is nat juice, spelt with a G, nat. Nat juice.
No, please don't juice me.
And this will allow you to transform into a gnat for 2 hours, so you can fly in the face of people you don't like to annoy them. So you've got to stitch on a whip with a tiny motif in the design. So Nat, what do you got for that?
I am going to stitch on Anzac. It's full of lots and lots of insects and ants and spiders.
They're very tiny motifs.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Laura?
I'm going to stitch on cardinal points because there's lots of tiny little flowers and bits in there. So that's what I was going with too. Stamplers were good for that one.
Yes. Well, Natalie was saying I could do my linen threads because I haven't been able to work on it for my daily 30 this week, but I like keeping it for my daily 30, so I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to do this one instead, which is Waxing Moon Designs Christmas House Trio, because there's a whole bunch of little snowflakes plus this like motif of the banner or ribbon down the bottom.
Bunting.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. So that's the one I'm going to do for that. Number 2 is a sleep elixir. Take this elixir for 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Stitch on a whip that you can relate to sleep.
Oh, okay. Let me find it. I am going to stitch on Sleeping Bee by Blue Flower. Here she is. Seen that one all before because it's sleeping. Laura?
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I am going to do Tiny Modernist Santa House because there's a bed and one sleeps in a bed.
Yes.
There's also a nice comfy chair, and if you're my dad, you fall asleep in the chair.
That works. Very good.
I'm almost done with this and I need a reason to finish it.
That's a good reason to do it. Well, I am going to do Little House Needleworks One More Stitch. But as Natalie will tell you, every night I go, I'll just do one more thread before bed. So I'm actually going to change one more stitch to one more thread, and I'm going to work on that one.
And I saw that there was a bed in there.
There's a bed
as
in
well.
there too, yes, because you're going to sleep in the bed.
That's right.
Number 3, shrinking potion. Consuming this potion will allow you to shrink 1 jean size. Put stitches in a whip that has something gradiating from big to small. I'm not doing this one.
I'm not doing this one. I don't have anything that has a gradiated. I've got things that are smaller than other things. But yeah, none of the, I guess thinking about what could be done, there's those stacking animals.
What about a candy corn?
Yeah.
Or anything triangular shaped really would be gradiating from big to small.
anything with a dress might work too, because technically you're going from, you know, wide on the shoulders to small on the waist. Or if you stand her on her head, you're going from a big skirt to don't stand her on her head.
Don't stand her on her head.
That would work though. I'm not doing that one because a couple of the other ones I wanted to do more, but
yeah, I mean, had I been able to do all 10 like usual, I would have worked it out. But I went, oh well, I'll take the easy options, which is very unusual because I usually like the challenge of having to do the tricky ones.
Yeah.
The next one is a dream tonic. If you're interested in a tonic that allows you to dream of Chippendale dances each night, this is your choice. Stitch on a piece with a cloud in the design.
St Andrews, because it's in Scotland, murky sky.
Laura's thinking.
No, my farm, because there's all kinds of clouds in the sky.
Yeah.
Like that's what I first thought of when I think of clouds. It's full coverage with clouds in the sky. So.
And that's sort of where I'm going to, except my computer doesn't want to let me do it. The same thing is really the piece that we just looked at for me that I want to inherit, which would enable me to double dip. Cozy Cove, I could do a cloud because it's got clouds in the sky too.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
The next one is a youth potion. This potion will allow you to turn back the clock to your 18-year-old self for 24 hours. Put stitches into your youngest whip.
I will be stitching, well, I've already stitched this one. And so before yesterday, it was my You Look Kind of Sus.
And then yesterday you got a new one. So
I got a new one.
Yes.
So I'm doing just the sign on Fresh Egg Farms. Let me pull it out of the package. That would probably be better. I'm doing just the Fresh Egg Farms sign.
Oh, lovely.
So, and that's it. It's on. I'm doing it on black, and I think I'm nuts, but yeah, it's probably my newest start, and it's close to being finished after that 750 stitch marathon on what last month's monthly. So it's really close to being done. So I'm like, that's going to be considered my youngest, because I think it's debatable, because I think I started 2 things on the same day a few months ago.
Well, I'm a bit like Natalie. It really depends on where you are. So as of right this second, Grandfather's Barn is my youngest whip because I started stitching it this morning. But if I decide to do it a bit later, later this afternoon, I'll be working on my model stitch. So that will be my newest whip. So it really just depends on when I decide to do this prompt. The good thing about the daily 30 is you can start them as of Saturday morning, American time.
You can start them Friday American time.
Is that when they come out for you? Friday, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, they come out Friday morning for us. It's like 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
That makes sense. It comes out about 11 p.m.
It's like the middle
us.
of the night for us, so yeah.
Although it's coming out earlier nowadays,
which is great. But it's really good because I can always work on that over the weekend, which I like. Okay, the next one is Elixir of Healing. Drinking this elixir will alleviate all that ails your body for a day. Stitch on your whip that has your take on a healing herb in the design.
I chose not to stitch this one. But that said, there's a lot of flowers, and I need to get things moving with a couple of my sales. One of them is the Bloom and Grow sale, and there's a lot of herbaceous flowers and things like that in there. And there's a pretty good chance that some of those flowers are medicinal.
Laura?
I chose to do Plant Happiness because it's got a ton of flowers on it. And I have several things that have flowers on it. I have a couple things that have trees on it, and certain trees are used for medicinal purposes. I had a lot of places I could go with it, but I thought Plant Happiness, haven't put any stitches on it in a while, so I wanted to go with that.
Yeah, if you've got anything with a willow tree, because willow bark is has the ingredient, the original ingredients for aspirin, for pain relief. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, I saw this one and went, well, obviously I'd have to do my herb garden by Mill Hill.
Oh, yes.
Oh, obvious. That one is, yeah. I would take that softball too.
Yeah, so I'm actually not choosing to do this one, but when I thought of it, I went, right, that would be my Mill Hill herb one. And then, as I said, I had to cut them down because I could only do 5.
I know.
Yeah. All right, the next one is Filter of Tranquility. This concoction will silence noisy neighbours and children during evening and night hours. Stitch on a whip that depicts night.
Okay, this is one that I do want to stitch on. Let me find it. I am going to stitch on Night Walked Down by Blue Flower.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not doing this one because I don't actually have a whip that has a night on it.
Well, you do.
Yes.
If I show you mine, you're going to know what yours is.
I do.
So my one, I could actually do my Christmas house trio because Santa is riding his sleigh and Santa only comes at night.
But my Santa's in the house getting ready. So I don't know.
He only
if it
comes
would
at
be
night. He doesn't come in the day.
But he's not technically, where'd it go? He hasn't technically gone anywhere.
Oh, it's his house. Okay, yes.
His house. He's in his house. So
what about your Mirabilia? Is there not a moon in the sky there?
There is not.
She looks like a nocturnal witch.
I mean, she definitely fits the whole night thing, but no, there's no actual moon in the sky.
You could try spinning it that she's going to an evening ball on Halloween.
Are there lights on in the tower?
No.
No,
it's all gray.
Nice try that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thought. It's a good thought.
All right. No nighttime for Laura.
Okay.
Number 8, the truth serum. This serum will force everyone you speak to in a 24-hour period to tell you the complete truth. Stitch on a piece that's something that lies in the design. I bet I know.
Lisa knows what I'm going for.
Yep.
Because it wasn't me.
It wasn't me, but it was.
I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
The whole point of the game, I think, is to fake everybody out. Yeah.
Deception.
Okay.
And then are you surprised then, Laura, that this is mine?
Absolutely not.
Wasn't me either. And there's a third part coming that actually says, well, maybe it was me.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I just haven't got there yet.
I haven't tried my hand at the game yet because I have a
you
feeling
should.
If when I do, I'm just going to get sucked into it.
You are. Yep.
Big time.
So I'm not doing that one either. But I may change my mind later in the week because I'm actually making Raven Queen. I'm taking the teals out and I'm replacing them with reds because the show Once Upon a Time, the evil queen from Snow White, Regina, the evil queen on the show, reds and blacks were her thing. And she lied all the time. And that's where I got the inspiration to change Raven Queen to the reds because this just screamed Regina to me when I first saw it. I may change one of mine and do that and see if lying Regina will fly.
Sounds good. Now, I don't know. Again, we have absolutely no authority over whether these things get approved or not. But when I read that prompt, even though I know it's about telling untruths, I still think of lying down. So maybe if you've got a whip where there's books lying sideways or something,
or somebody lying in a bed. I mean,
lying in the other sense rather than telling fibs. I don't know.
they tend to let you lean into creativity, so they might go for it.
Who knows? But, if you're stumped and you really need a fifth one, chuck it in. It's extra stitches. What do you got to lose? You've done some stitches.
That's right.
Yeah, if you really don't have anything else, what do you have to lose?
Exactly. Yeah. All right, potion of mind control. This potion will allow you to completely control the mind of another individual, and the effects are brief. Put stitches into a whip on something with a brain.
I'm going to be stitching on Lisa's Christmas Among Us. Just because she's asked me to model stitch, and I want to get this one done for her nice and quickly.
Many stitches as possible.
Exactly. Laura?
I mean, I have almost all of my whips have either a person or an animal on it. By the time I hit 5 when I got to that one, so I'm like, well,
I think this is pretty much a lay down misère one. Like, I think everyone can find that. So for me, it will be my grandfather's barn, because they've all got brains. But when I saw this, been trying to work out what the lady was doing sitting in a bathtub in the barn or in a big cooking pot. So I was thinking she didn't really have a brain, but then we worked out she was on a quilting loom.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a brain. Number 10.
If you don't know what it is, you probably.
No. Spirit of Fire and Ice allows your body temperature to cool if you're hot and warm if you're cold. It lasts for 8 hours. Stitch on a whip something warm and cold in the design.
This was one of those ones where I'd gotten down to the end of the list and I'd already identified at least 5 things. And
I
so
didn't want to think about it.
I didn't want to think about it. Let me see what I've got in terms of my
All right.
whips.
Well, while you're thinking, I've got something.
All right.
I could, again, I'm not doing it because I couldn't get there, but my Winter by Cricket collection, because it has this candle, which is warm, and a snowman, which is cold.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. I've got Winter Chill by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and you can see the snow and the birdie's rugged up with his scarf.
Yep, definitely. The scarf would be warm. Laura, can't come up with anything?
Well, I mean, either one of my items that have houses on them. Santa's house has a fireplace going in there and clearly has snow on it. And you're going to have a fire if you're on a snowy farm. So those would be my 2 options.
Yes. Well, that's good. So that's daily 30. So then we go to the Crystal Academy.
Oh, the good times there. We're on a field trip.
We are.
Okay. So we started going through the portal that Opal opened for us. And we had a choice to go to the fields, a forest, the mountains, a lake, or the river and swamps. My husband wanted to know who in their right mind would go for the river and swamps. I'm not going to disagree because, ew. I went to the lake because that just appealed to me. So then, and at each choice we make, the path diverges even farther, and we have to make, and you get 2 or 3 options at each one. So once we were at the lake, we could either cast a spell that we had already learned, or we could attempt to create a picnic. I chose to cast a spell, and I cast the ice one, and I don't know how to pronounce it.
Pikapimi?
Yes, that one. Words are hard, okay? Because I wanted to channel my inner Elsa and make an icy path. And knowing my luck, I plunged all of Arendelle into eternal winter. Once we were on the island through my icy path, we could explore the island or cast another spell. And I decided not to take my chances of making a mess and explore the island. And I found some, hold on, I have to find it. I found some trees and some instruments and a jar sitting on the island. Did I miss a step? No, I didn't. So we could examine the trees, the instruments, or the jar. I decided the jar probably was not going to end well. And I wasn't really sure what they were hiding in the trees. So I examined the instruments. So if you explore, and I read these, I didn't read the other spell ones in thorough detail. But I read the 3 once we explored the island. If you explored the trees, you found snakes. I'm glad I didn't do that. If you examined the jar, you opened it and released a noxious gas that smelled like trucker farts, according to the description. Which is fantastic. And the instrument, in examining the instrument, we made, it was a flute, so we blew into the flute and started making music and made the snake skins rattle. So we decided that was a bad idea and stopped. And then, so no matter what path you chose on the lake, the one that was we got yesterday, we were all gathered together on the island. And we had a box in front of us, and we could either open the box or not open the box. And what did Laura do?
She opened the box.
So now all of us lake students are currently standing on an island covered in purple goo because we opened the box, and my new boots are ruined. And my clothes are all purple gooed.
So creative. The stories are amazing, and there's so many different avenues. What did you do, Natalie?
Okay, so I went to the forest. I thought, interesting things, bit into the woodsy, and no sooner had we entered the woods than a really thick fog was cast over the group, so thick that we couldn't really see each other. We had a choice to cast a spell to deal with the fog or to call out to each other. And I decided to call out. And other people were casting spells, and they were casting Whikapemi. And the Whikapemi turned out to be the right sort of spell to reduce the fog because it gathered all the water into icy claws. But one of the students got injured, but not by the icy claws. There was an arrow that had been shot, and there was a very strange feather on the arrow. And so as a result of that, we called for help. So, me with my soprano voice, I launched a high C and called for the headmistress, and Lucy came along, and she healed our injured student. And then we had a choice to investigate the feathers, figure out, go exploring a bit deeper in the forest to see where this creature had come from, or to go to the hut that was off in the distance. The hut, as it turns out, is like an enchanted hut with a crazy giant chicken in it. And so students entered the hut, the door locked shut, and the hut then proceeded to bounce up and away. It was hilarious. So funny. And so there's a fair bit of spell casting going on there, people trying to bind, cast what's the vine spell?
It's the Captifarm.
Captifarm, that's it. So Captifarm is being cast to bind down the chicken, and so that seems to be working. one of our virtual stitcher friends, Sue, she's stuck inside the hut, and so she's being bounced around like crazy. But while she's being bounced around, there's a hatch inside, and so she's actually wanting to go and explore that even more while she's inside this crazy chicken possessed hut. Meanwhile, I'm off in the forest, and we've been led on this merry dance by some mystery creature. So this is sounding really good. And it's laughing at us. And so it's starting to get a bit scary now.
Awesome. Well, I went to the fields because I just wanted to wander across the paddocks. And when we're in the fields, we came across a talking pineapple. And we could choose whether we wanted to talk to the pineapple or not talk to the pineapple and keep exploring. And I thought, I don't think anything good can come from talking to a talking pineapple. So I went exploring further. And as I explored further, a few more twists and turns, I ended up feeling an invisible barrier. And so the invisible barrier, you couldn't get round. And so I had to cast a spell. And being in Australia, I'm behind the times for, this all gets released when I'm asleep. So by the time I've woken up, a lot of people have done things. So I read through what they'd done, and they were casting spells to freeze it and to do different things. So I went, well, you know what? I'm going to cast the Captiform and try and bind it, because it binds anything. And it turns out that was the right answer. And all these vines went all over the invisible barrier, and I could actually swing over the top and jump over. So I went over the other side and continued exploring and had a few options there. Anyway, I've ended up exploring this part where there's a whole bunch of pink bottles all over the place, and there's some sort of a building with a bed and a shiny object. And I went to explore the shiny object. And while I was down exploring that, I've ended up, just a few of us have gone down this place, and this other student, we found that there was some musical instruments, a nice lyre, and I picked it up to look at it, and I think it's because I'm a music teacher. It was nice for me to look at. She came and went to touch it, and as she plucked the string, it like bit her hand and snapped back, and she got annoyed at me, and she went to cast Ignition on me, but she said it wrong, and so it didn't work. She was going to freeze me. That's not very nice.
Rude.
I know. So I had a choice of, do I cast a spell on her or do I run away from her? And I went, well, you know what? I'm going to Captiform and tie her up, because I don't want her casting any more spells on me, and I want to play this harp a bit more because it's beautiful. So I haven't actually looked today to see what's happened to me. I'm fully expecting to get sent to detention for casting a spell on another student, but I don't know. So we'll have to see where I'm going. But I'm one of the, there's only one or two of us down my path. There's so many different options. It's fantastic. And I think it lasts for the rest of this week. So we do 200 stitches a day.
Yeah.
All right. So
there are so many options. There are, and it's just funny. And I haven't read through all of the different paths, but I've been trying to keep up with some of them, and some of them are pretty funny.
There's so many you could read through, but yeah, that's awesome. So kudos to the creativity of the game designers.
It's incredible.
And then next week we should be back to normal homework, I imagine.
That's right. And I think there's a scrimmage coming up very soon as well, 30th of October. Does that sound right? Yes.
I think so.
SemiSane, Nat, anything to say on that?
We're still doing alphabet soup, the letter U. I'm stitching unicorn tapestry. I'm also, one of my Among Us designs, the You Look Kind of Sus design, is by Up Up Down Down Crafts, and so that I'm stitching as well for that. The next letter is V, and I'm going to be stitching Cricket Collection chart, because that is by, her first name is Vicky.
Vicky Hastings, that's good.
That's it, thank you.
Awesome. I might do a cricket collection for that one too.
I think we've both got the hiccups for some reason, Lisa.
Oh yes. Between that and the husband and the dogs, it's a great homework video tonight. Zoe's not impressed. Oh, she got it out. Her ball was under the
Made the
lounge.
husband go upstairs.
And we're still doing Halloween Town as well, which is also another really creative story.
Yes.
I was exploring the jail, and
Oh, me too.
well, on the jail you had a choice between a few choices, but I ended up at a desk where there was a book, and you could read the book or not read the book, and everyone else is reading the book, and I am the only person not reading the book. So I am trying to get through 6,000 stitches by myself, which I'll do, but it's taking me a while. So at the moment, I'm busy not reading the book. What are you doing in the jail, Nat?
We've only just arrived. I'm just about to arrive. As I was starting stitching to go to the jail, we had some students get locked in the toilet again. Don't go to the toilet, people. It's dangerous there.
Bad idea.
Bad idea.
Cool. Are you doing Halloween Town, Laura?
I am not.
Okay. And I'm still doing the Supernatural next episode. Again, there's like 10 different prompts, and I just make them fit after I've done everything else. Life's busy this week, so not quite as much stitching. And that's all I know about for this week. Anything else from you guys, ladies?
No, just stitching through the prompts. I'm catching up on last week's daily 30, so thankfully we've got 2 weeks to stitch it. So last week I had a bit of a mess of a week, so I'm really glad that we're able to catch up on that, and I should hopefully be through all of that backlog by the end of this week.
That's good. I've actually finished my monthlies, which is really good. I like to try and knock them over by mid-month. Just, you never know what's going to happen at the end of the month. Although I've got one more costume to do, which I'll be getting done today or tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us, Laura, for your first visit on the homework video. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. And we will have a good week.
We have a happy birthday.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday to Beth Ann.
No, yes, her birthday is tomorrow.
It's now.
Today.
Because it's not quite Monday here in the States.
Oh, okay.
We've got an hour. I have an hour past my bedtime.
Well, thank you for staying up, and thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next week. Bye.
That's right. Bye-bye.